Hey everyone, my name is Bakari. I am so excited to be here today because in this video tutorial I'm going to show you how to create simple jQuery image slider from scratch. Okay, so let me show you what I am talking about. So this is the product I'm going to create from the scratch for you guys, okay, for your projects. So when you hover on the image slider, then you will be seeing the next and previous buttons pops up simply using the CSS. Okay, so and then the image slider. Okay, so this is what we are going to create from scratch in few minutes. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm opening Dreamweaver, and this is the product I just showed you, the project. Okay, so we're going to build it from the scratch. So let's create a new file new, and HTML5 doc type, create. First, give the page a title, so it is going to be simple jQuery image slider part 1, because there will be other parts. Okay, and anyways, alright, so then we just put the title of the page, and then I'm going to save it first, save as, and on my desktop I am going to create a brand new folder, and I'm going to give it a name, simple jQuery image slider. That's the folder. Okay, create, and within the folder I'm going to save it, but before I save it I must give it a name for the file, simple jQuery image slider part 1. Alright, simple jQuery image slider part 1. Or you could write any name you fancy, so save it in that just created folder. Right, okay, now what we are going to do is that in 3 steps we are going to create it. Okay, so first we're going to build the HTML structure. Okay, so in the body we're going to insert a div ID, and we're going to call it hero, right? So write hero, and in the end div tag we are simply going to write a comment tag there, so that we know that this is the end of the hero ID. So within the hero ID we are going to have another ID. Okay, so I'm going to add a div ID there as well, and we're going to call it slider, and I'm going to close it, and I'm also going to give it a comment tag in there, so it is going to be slider. So within the so now we have two divs in here, one hero ID div ID, and within the hero div ID we have one slider ID, okay, div ID. Okay, right, so and we also need to put 2 more IDs for the next and previous ID, next and previous buttons. Okay, so just after the hero I'm going to add another div ID, and this is going to be the next ID, and I'm going to give the comment tag in there, and simply going to copy this, Command C, and paste it, and simply change this name to prev. This is for the previous and next button. Alright, so now what we have here, we have 4 IDs, div ID, div tags in there. okay, hero. So this is the hero ID, and within the hero ID we have 3 more IDs, and these IDs are div ID for the next button, div ID for the previous button, and div ID for the slider. Okay, and within this slider ID we're going to have the images in there. Okay, so we're going to add the image tag in there. So img src, then browse. Okay, so let's get back to browser, the desktop. We just created this folder, right? So within the folder we have only the HTML file. Okay, so we need to put these images in this folder because we want to add these images in the image slider, right? So now we have 4 items in the folder, okay, in the simple jQuery image slider folder. Now we're good to go. Now get back to Dreamweaver. So image tag. So I'm going to add the image. So then desktop, then click on the folder, just create a folder, and then select the image and close it like so, and then press enter one more time. Then add one more images, source, and then browse, add the second image and then close it like so, and then this is the last image source, and sky face. Alright, then close it like so. Now press live. Okay, so we have our images stacking on top of each other, right? So our basically and then we're done with the slider. Okay, and we just added the images in the slider ID. Okay, and then we're going to add the next and previous arrow button there. So I'm not going to use any images, I'm going to use the special character in there. Okay, so I'm pressing shift and number 7, that is also and then R for next, right arrow, ANG, angle. Okay, right angle, then press enter. And then for the previous I'm going to press shift and left, L for left, angle, ing. Okay, and then press enter and then refresh, and now we have our previous and next arrow button there, and we're going to have to style it further. Okay, so now we are done with the HTML structure. So what we have here is that we have a hero ID, and within the hero ID we have 3 more IDs. One is called next ID, next and previous, and other one is called slider. Okay, so within the slider we have our images, and in the next and previous ID we have our symbol. Okay, so now this is the first step is complete. Okay, this is the code you need, and if you want to put this image slider in your project, you simply copy this HTML code in the appropriate place in your website. Okay, and it's gonna work. Okay, so then just after the title, press enter 3 more times to make some space, and then I'm going to add the style tag, style type, and then text / CSS, and close it like so. And then I'm going to we're going to style it. Okay, so first we're going to work with the hero ID, right? So £, then hero, then alright, then width is going to be 960 pixels, and then the height is going to be 500 pixels. Okay, so and then positioning will be relative, and then margin is going to be from the top. I want to have a margin from the top 50 pixels, and right side and left side will be auto. Alright, so now press refresh and see in the design mode, and we have our images in the middle of the window. Alright, because of this auto function in the margin. Alright, okay, Now we're going to work with the um, slider ID. So, and then here we're going to add the um, positioning is going to be absolute, and then overflow hidden, and that way it is going to help us by hiding all the images in one image. Okay, so now press refresh, but it will not work because I'm going to tell you why. Because we didn't put any width and height of the slider. Okay, so as soon as we put the width and height of this slider, it is going to hide. Okay, so height is going to be 500 pixels, and then refresh, it is going to work precisely. There you go. So now what we have here is that we have our images, and underneath one image we have other images. Okay, so everything is there just behind it, so it is hidden. Right, so now we're going to work with the next and previous ID. Okay, so and then we will be working with the next, and we'll be copying from there. Okay, so now we want to have next ID, like we're going to have a width of 50 pixels, and height is also going to be 50 pixels, and then we want to have a background color, right, and it is going to be RGB color. Choose any color you fancy, and then simply change this number to 0 and these two to 5. Alright, now press refresh. Now we see that our next arrow is getting shaped. Okay, so now on the top I need to add the text align. In that way, this text align center, in that way it is going to be horizontally center. Okay, the arrow within the box. Alright, so and then I'm going to add the line height 50 pixels, matching the width and height, and that way it is going to be vertically center. Okay, excellent. Let's press refresh. There you go. Now I'm simply going to give it a color. Okay, so color, it is going to be white. Press refresh, and there you go. And then I'm going to add a positioning for this, so it is going to be absolute positioned item. Alright, so now I'm also going to give it a Z index value, and then it is going to be floating on top of the images. Okay, so now I'm going to also add a cursor pointer. Refresh, so when we hover over this, and we'll be having this hand button or cursor. Okay, so clickable thing. Right, what else we need? Then we need to position it, right? So this is the next arrow, so we need to position it in the right side. Okay, so and then just after the absolute property we need to add top. So top is going to be, we want it to be vertically center, right? So to do that we need to do some little math here. So what is the math? So math is that the height of the image slider is 500 pixels, right? We need to divide that by 2, so it is going to be 250 pixels, right? So and then the height of the next arrow button is 50 pixels, right? So we also need to divide that by 2, so it is going to be 25. So we need to minus that from the height of the image slider. Okay, so it is going to be like 225 pixels. Let's press refresh. There you go. So it is precisely in the vertically in the center. Okay, right. So and then right side, it is the next arrow button. That's why it is going to be right is going to be 0, so it will be floating here, right here. So press refresh. There you go. Now basically let's give it 250. Yes, 250 is precise the in precisely ordered, I guess. Yeah. Okay, so now so basically the height of the image slider is 500 pixels, so divided by 250, and then the height of the arrow button is 50 pixels, then divided by 2, then it is going to be 25 and 250, right? Okay, just keep it there. You can play with the positioning. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. And then what else we need to add? We need to add a opacity, add an opacity in there. Okay, so right, okay, then just in the end, opacity to 0 or 0.3. okay, so we can barely see, but it's there. All right, we're done with the next arrow. Then we're going to copy this and then paste it, and simply going to change this name to prev, and simply going to change this right to left, and we're done in here. So we have our, basically it should be 225. Okay, there you go. Okay, looks great. And okay, basically that's it, right? But we need to add some functionality in here. Okay, so what is that functionality? We need to have the arrows primarily hidden. When we hover over the image, the arrows pops up. Okay, that's what we want to do. So to do that, we need to add some hover effect in there. Okay, so hero ID, then column hover, then a space dot next, I mean the ID, next, then curly brackets. So we want to have the opacity to 1 when we hover over, and we also want to have a transition effect in there. Okay, so slightly fades in. Right, so transform transitions all 0.5 seconds space is out. Right, now we also need to add the WebKit form of it, so paste it there and simply in the front WebKit, and there you go, and it should be working precisely. There you go. That's for the next button, right? So we're going to do it for the previous button. Copy this, paste it, and simply going to change this prev. Right, now we're going to simply give the next and previous opacity to 0. Okay, so it will be completely hidden, and when we hover over, it shows up, pops up like so. That's cool. All right, okay, so step 2 is successfully done and complete. That's the CSS, okay, required for this image slider, and this is the final part, and that is the engine of the image slider, and that will be the jQuery. Okay, so we're going to add the jQuery functionality in there. So just of the title, script type text slash javascript and then a space source. We don't have the file, so let's get the file. I'm going to open the browser and I'm going to have jquery.com and then click on this link, big button, jQuery, then scroll below a little, then you see this jQuery 2.x version, then click on this link, and when you see this code, and then click file, save page as, and then desktop, and select your folder and make sure you have everything in there, and you make sure you have the JS extension with it, okay, and then save it in that appropriate folder. Save, and we're done with the jQuery library file. Now we're going to add the jQuery cycle.plugin file. So from here, so it is going to be jQuery .malsub.com, jQuery.malsub.com. So when we are here, click on this link, cycle plugin, and then click on this link, and then click on this link, and when you come to this page, simply go to file, save page as, and desktop, that folder, make sure it has a JS extension with it, okay, and in the appropriate folder where we have the jQuery library file, okay, save. Now we're done. Excellent. Okay, so now we're going to add the jQuery file. So first the jQuery library file, okay, I just selected it and open, and then close it like so, and then just after this we need to add two more script type thing, type, then a space source src, then enter, and then this time the jQuery.cycle.all.js file selected, and then close it like so, and then finally we need to add the script tag, script type JavaScript, okay. So, and within these we are going to have the jQuery functionality, so add the $, and then opening and closing parentheses, and within the opening and closing parentheses, double quote, single quote, comma, and within the single quote, comma, we're going to have the ID selected, so it is going to be the cell slider, okay. So then after that, dot cycle, cycle, then opening parenthesis, opening curly bracket, closing curly bracket, then closing parenthesis, then the semicolon, okay. So, and split it from here, and then within these we're going to add the functionality, okay. So it is going to be fx colon tab 3 times, and then single quote, comma twice, and then comma, and within the single quote, comma, we're going to have a scroll effect, okay. So scrollhorz, okay. So make sure H is capitalized, okay. So if I press refresh, it is going to function as it should be. Let's see, there we go, okay. So then just after this I'm going to have I'm going to add the functionality for the next and previous button, okay. So next colon space single quote, comma twice, then comma, and within the single quote, comma, I'm going to add the next ID, and I'll be doing the same for the previous, then colon prev single quote, comma twice, and then comma, and within the single quote, comma, I'm going to add the previous ID, okay. So it is fully functional, there we go. Alright, excellent. So moving on, then I'm going to add 2 more functionality in there. So time out, okay, come on, time out. So I'm going to add 3000 milliseconds, so it is going to be 3 seconds, so every 3 seconds it is going to slide. Okay, and if you don't want it to slide by itself, you need to put 0 in here. Okay, just 0 0, then it won't slide, but when someone clicks on the previous and arrow buttons, it slides. Okay, that's cool. So I'm going to add 3000 milliseconds and then comma, and I'm also going to add a pause function, pause colon, and then I'm going to add 1, and that way when my mouse cursor on on the image, alright, so it is not going to slide because it is paused. So pause 1 means when someone hover over the image, it is going to be paused, which is good for some, maybe the viewer want to see the image for a longer time or see the captions and other things, you know, we add, right? That's how it's gonna work. Okay, excellent. Moving on, and then finally it is done. Okay, that's about it. Let's see the time, how long we took to create this. So it's 26 minutes, right? So okay, and then we're back, and let's check it in the Safari in the browser. Okay, there you go. We have our fully functional beautiful image slider. Okay, so this is the simple jQuery image slider. This is the part 1. Okay, in the next part we're going to add the caption. That's beautiful. So my mouse cursor is on top of the image, so it is not going to slide, it is paused. Okay, there you go. But when my mouse cursor is on top of the arrows, it is going to slide because it is in the upper state. Okay, it is not in the same layer as the images. Alright, there we go. Let's check it in Google Chrome, and there you go. This is our beautiful image slider. When someone hover over the image or the slider, the arrow pops up, next and previous button pops up. Okay, beautifully fade effect using simply CSS. Okay, that's cool, CSS3 functionality. There you go, and that's about it. I hope you like it, you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from this. Yeah, and I would love to hear from you about this tutorial. Please let me know what you think. Drop me a line in the comments area. Okay, so it will be very helpful for me to know if you liked it, and if it helped you at all, if it inspired you at all. Please give it a thumbs up, or if it didn't, give it a thumbs down and let me know what can be done. Yeah, and suggest me what can be done about it to upgrade. And please do subscribe to my channel, and to subscribe to my channel please, and make comments, like and share. Okay, sharing is very important. So there you go. This is the code required for this beautiful image slider. It is really simple and easy. So that was the last part, step 3, this part. Alright, so finally, to sum up, okay, so this is our HTML structure for the image slider, and then this is our CSS required for this image slider, and finally the JavaScript part 3, step 3, that is required for this image slider to work. Okay, so there you go. Thank you for watching, and thank you for your time, valuable time. I really appreciate it, and please do make comments. Yeah, that really helps. Alright, thank you very much. I will see you in my next video. Take care, bye.